Welcome to the Wilde Wealth Way. This podcast is powered by the team at Wilde Wealth Management Group, an award-winning financial services firm that provides comprehensive retirement, investment, real estate, insurance, legal, and tax planning services all under one roof. In each episode, professionals from the firm and our trusted partners will delve into topics ranging from retirement and the stock market to tax planning and insurance. We will even assist getting your kids into college and help get it funded. Welcome to the Wilde Wealth Way podcast. My name is Jackie. I'm CEO of Wilde Wealth Management Group. I'm joined today with Andrew Sampson. He's one of our amazing financial advisors here at Wilde Wealth. And we just wanted to say thank you so much, Andrew, for being with us today and taking the time to speak with us. So Andrew actually joined Wilde Wealth in 2015. But he's actually been in the industry since 2010. Andrew, can you kind of talk to me about your journey to Wilde Wealth, what that looked like, your prior experiences, and all those good things?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I really appreciate the opportunity. Prior to Wilde Wealth, I was with a larger financial firm. And one of the things that really attracted me to Wilde Wealth is the ability to help my clients make decisions based on their goals, with less consideration to the firm I was with. Being able to put my clients' goals first was paramount in making this decision. And above and beyond that, just the amazing and talented crew that we do have here with Wilde Wealth, I knew that would be a good step up in my practice and growth going forward.
Yeah. So tell me, you shared with me that you actually used to own gyms. So how did you actually even end up in the financial advising world?
Yep. So that's a long story, probably longer than what we have for this podcast. But yeah, so my wife and I, we were in the fitness industry for about 10 years, and a guy that I was in the fitness industry with, he made the transition to a financial advisor. Now, the cool thing about the parallels between financial advisors and personal trainers is it's the same job, only with numbers versus calories. So figuring out exactly what my clients are looking to accomplish, creating a game plan to get them there, and then helping them, walking with them to execute that plan. Yeah. That's all we do all day.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Janine. She used to be in the gymnastics world too, and then ended up being a financial advisor. So you're totally right in the correlation there. So yeah. I love that. Tell us about your cute little family and tell us a little bit what it was like having two little ones when you were going through COVID.
So I am extremely lucky. So my wife, a lot of my clients know her because she does my schedule. Yep. So if you need to make an appointment with me, her name's Kimber Sampson, and she'll take care of you. My oldest daughter, she's 8 years old, and my youngest is 2. So during COVID, I primarily worked from home, partially because it was very hard to fill a day in the office and get my clients to come see me sometimes. Yeah. But with that said, it was awesome. We homeschooled my oldest, and we were able to put a large focus on her academics, and she's actually improved quite a bit during this time. That's awesome. And my 2-year-old, my 8-year-old's a perfect angel. I can let her know, hey, Dad's got a Zoom meeting. My 2-year-old doesn't care. She just doesn't. So, all the Zoom fails that you see, she's a master of the Zoom fails, right? So she'll bust in the office while I'm in the middle of an appointment or something. And the good thing is my clients and I have great relationships. So normally it's not, hey, get out of here. It's, oh, can you hold her up to the camera and have her wave high? So that's been a plus overall.
Yeah. No, you were definitely one of the ones that worked at home, and you had the two little ones, and I can relate. It was a very challenging time.
Absolutely.
But we are finally getting hopefully past some of those challenges in that regard. So, but yeah, no, 2 is a hard age to keep in the boundaries, I guess you would say.
I tell her, hey, Dad's got a meeting. You have to stay out. Do you understand? And she says she understands. I think she just doesn't care.
Right. I love that. So we're having your webinar at the end of this month, and we are talking about surviving market swings. So the May 26th is the last Wednesday. So our webinar Wednesdays are always the last Wednesdays. And you can register on our events page at noon and 6 p.m. This topic is actually so relevant for what has been going on in the market as of lately. So it is a perfect time for us to kind of touch base on this. And I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask is, when stuff like this is going on, you're having client meetings, all of those things, what does that look like? What are those conversations that you kind of start out with?
Yeah, so I think one of the keys is controlling what we can control and knowing and understanding what clients are truly saying. So when a client sees that there's been 10 headlines that day talking about the market falling, and they like to use very inflammatory language like crash or bubble burst and things like that. And that does stoke fear. But really what my clients are saying isn't, hey, how much is my portfolio down? What they're really saying is, hey, are my kids still going to be able to go to college? Mm-hmm. Am I still going to be able to retire in 5 years? Or has our plan been completely derailed? Mm-hmm. So what I normally would do is, address the market concerns, address the headlines, and explain to them, really what's going on, how bad it really is, if it is bad at all, and then redirect that conversation back to the things they're actually concerned about. Yes, the S&P's down X amount. Your portfolio may be down this much, but you're still okay. Yeah. You're still going to retire in 5 years. Your son's still going to college. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what college was that again? Is it ASU, U of A? I'm probably starting some controversy here naming schools. So, yeah.
In those conversations, when the market does kind of start to do all the ups, downs, all arounds, right? Where does the conversation of risk tolerance, is that something that needs to be revisited, and does that sometimes factor into some of this as well?
Yes. So risk tolerance is subjective.
Yes.
Your risk tolerance when the market only goes up is way different than when the market's going down.
Yeah.
So risk tolerance should be a factor in what we're looking at when building a portfolio, but it's not the factor, right? So there's other things to consider. And primarily those things are we going to hit your goals? And when the market does go down, because it always does at some point, it goes down, then back up, and then down, is that going to derail us? So I meet with my clients quarterly. Some of them we meet on a semi-annual basis. And that's the time to have those conversations. Not in the midst of the market going down. It's, hey, look, if the market were to go down, you're still okay. So, or, hey, you've changed your goals. In order to meet those goals and protect those dollars, we should make these adjustments just in case the market goes down. But not necessarily in the midst of the market going down. What's Doug's title? Chief Investment Officer?
Investment Officer.
Yeah. So Doug often says, don't just stand there, do nothing.
Yeah.
And his point is sometimes the right thing to do is not to do anything at all. It's, hey, we've already had this conversation. We fortified the portfolio in case something like this happens. And now is that time. So it's already been taken care of.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are, I think the best thing is to always remember, I feel people get and it's natural, right? But they get emotional. And so you have to learn how to take that emotion out of it and
Absolutely.
Just really trust in those safeguards that are already in place. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
In your presentation for the webinar, you kind of go over some of the factors that actually influence the financial markets. Can you give us just a brief overview of what some of those factors are?
Oh, absolutely. So, and what I'll do is I'll actually address the primary factor that's impacting us today, which is inflation. So we're getting a lot of headlines right now talking about whether inflation is going to be high or low. Or I was listening to a podcast on the way over here where someone took the opposite approach and said we're going to see deflation. The risk factor with inflation is the Fed's only tool to reduce inflation is to raise interest rates. Our economy has been kind of pushed along right now by the fact that interest rates are fairly low. People are refinancing their homes and reducing their interest rates and keeping more money in their pockets and so on. If interest rates go back up, we kind of lose that stimulus in the market. And because of that, markets are concerned that interest rates are going to go up. With that said, it should be a part of what we've already been factoring into your overall plan. So if you are concerned about that, I would just encourage you to reach out to your advisor and let them know that is a concern of yours. And if there's any protections in your portfolio to safeguard against that.
Yeah. And then we kind of touched on this, but what are some steps and suggestions? Obviously, it's going to look different even when the market fluctuates for different age ranges. Can you kind of talk through that a little bit? Obviously, people in retirement, it's going to look a little bit different than, say, your 30-year-old, 40-year-old, all of that. So can you talk a little bit through that?
Oh, so absolutely. So the natural progression is as you get older and as you get, say, closer to retirement or even in your later years, your portfolio tends to become more conservative. This happens for a couple of different reasons. One, because you're closer to your goals, you're unable to have the time it takes to recover from market pull downs. Right. So in order to prevent that, you have to make your portfolio a little bit more conservative. But that doesn't just happen with retirement. If you have dollars allocated to, we'll keep picking on college, to college, as you get closer to that goal, those dollars should become more and more conservative so that your portfolio doesn't dip as much during market pull downs and you have plenty of time to recover if the market does pull back.
Yeah. So tell us why people should watch this webinar. What are some of the key things that, when you did the webinar and all of that you think really stick out that might really help people, especially right now because of the market doing everything that it's doing? What are some of those things and why do you think people should really tune in to watch, on Wednesday?
So if you want a little bit more detail in what we've discussed today, I'm a person who has to figure out every little key aspect of everything and fully understand before I take that next step forward. If you're that person, definitely tune in because it's going to have a lot more detail in the conversation we've had. The gist of the story, though, is that if you are meeting with your advisor on a regular basis and he's fully aware of your goals, you should be able to sleep easy at night. And if there are concerns, your advisor has probably already let you know that those are some concerns of his.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for taking time today. I'm so excited to watch your webinar because I do think it's going to be so valuable right now because, we are definitely working through the after effects of the COVID and there's a lot of questions out there, but I think just listening to your webinar and everything, it just really will help people give perspective in regards to remembering okay, this is kind of what the market always does. We've seen it happen type of thing. So don't forget to go to the events page on our website. You can register, like I said, for a noon time or a 6 p.m. time. And if you have any questions, you can type in your questions in the comment box in the webinar. And those questions will get sent to Andrew to answer if you have any of those. But I just wanted to say thank you again so much for being with us on the Wilde Wealth Way podcast today and for taking time out because we know that you're super busy and it's very hard to get scheduled with him, with his wife. She has him on a tight schedule. So, but no, we're very thankful to have you part of our team and everything. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Wilde Wealth Way. If you would like to meet with one of our trusted advisors, please go to www.wildewealth.com or call our office at 480-361-6203. You can find our show notes from today's show at www.wildewealth.com/podcast.